Energy is the language of attraction. It speaks louder than your words, louder than your appearance, louder than any message you try to send. Long before someone reads your text, hears your voice, or even notices what you're wearing, they already feel your energy, that unspoken presence, that silent communication. It's real and it's powerful. People can sense what you're feeling even when you're trying to hide it. You may not say you're anxious, but your energy will tell them. You may not say you're desperate, but your energy will scream it. That's why changing your energy is far more effective than changing your strategy. You can change your hair, your clothes, your tone, your approach. But if your energy is off, if it's rooted in fear, insecurity, or doubt, it repels instead of attracts. Attraction is not about physical beauty alone. It's about the feeling someone gets when they're in your presence. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who wasn't conventionally attractive, but there was something about them you just couldn't ignore? They had a calmness, a certainty, a quiet strength. That was energy. They weren't begging for attention. They weren't trying to prove their worth. They weren't trying to be chosen. They were just being. That kind of energy is rare. And that's what makes it magnetic. People are drawn to what feels whole, what feels grounded, what feels sure of itself. When you carry the energy of neediness, people don't see you, they feel the weight of your expectation. It's like trying to embrace someone while pulling them down with invisible chains. That emotional weight is felt and it creates resistance. The more you need someone to stay, the more they feel the need to pull away. Not because you're not worthy, but because the energy you're emitting is laced with pressure, fear, and the subconscious question, am I enough? And no one wants to feel responsible for your sense of self. People want to feel free, not trapped. They want to be drawn in by who you are, not burdened by what you're missing. Energy isn't about being loud or dominant. It's about being aligned. When you're aligned with your own value, when you're not trying to convince someone to choose you, when you're no longer adjusting your identity to be loved, you become incredibly attractive. That alignment creates a frequency, a signal that speaks for you. And that frequency attracts those who are looking for exactly that: stability, calm, power, peace. You can't fake energy. You can't pretend to be calm when you're frantic inside. You can't fake confidence when your inner dialogue is full of self-doubt. The universe doesn't respond to what you pretend to be. It responds to what you truly are. That's why the inner work matters. That's why your healing matters. Because when your energy is clear, when your emotions are balanced, when your sense of worth is not tied to another person's attention, you stop chasing. And ironically, that's when the chase begins in your direction. There's a kind of woman who doesn't have to do much to be remembered. She walks into a room and her presence is felt before her voice is heard. She's not trying to prove a point. She's not looking around to see who's looking at her. She knows who she is. And more importantly, she knows what she's not. Her energy says, I'm whole. That kind of energy is unforgettable. Not because it's loud, but because it's rare. When a man feels peace in your presence, he remembers you. When your energy doesn't demand, but simply exists in fullness, it becomes a safe space. Not in the sense of making him comfortable by shrinking yourself, but by showing up in your entirety, unapologetically. That fullness, that self-assurance, that quiet power, it creates a longing in others. They want to be around it. They chase it. Not because you're manipulating the outcome, but because your energy reflects something stable in a world that's emotionally chaotic. People don't chase what's easily available, they chase what feels meaningful. And nothing is more meaningful than someone who doesn't need to be chased. Someone who values herself, whether you stay or go. That's the paradox. The less you need someone to chase you, the more they want to. Because your energy isn't saying, pick me, it's saying, I've already picked myself. When you embody this kind of energy, centered, calm, confident, you no longer seek validation from temporary attention. You no longer confuse being seen with being valued. You no longer settle for emotional breadcrumbs. You become the source, not the seeker. And being the source makes you powerful, not in a forceful way, but in a way that speaks deeply to those around you. They feel something in you that they may not even understand. An energy that doesn't waver, that doesn't chase, that doesn't beg, it just is. And that energy, that calm, grounded, self-contained presence is what makes someone want to chase you. Not just once, not just occasionally, but continuously. Because it's not a performance. It's not a tactic. It's not a game. It's a truth you've stepped into. It's an energy you've owned. And once you own it, the world responds. Not to your appearance, not to your words, but to the vibration you carry. That vibration, more than anything else, decides who stays, who chases, and who never forgets you. The moment you truly know your value, everything changes. Not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. The energy of self-worth is not about arrogance. It's not about being loud, dramatic, or needing to constantly remind people of who you are. It's quiet. It's still. It's steady. Self-worth radiates through your decisions, your boundaries, your silence, and your refusal to entertain what doesn't honor your soul. When you embody self-worth, you stop begging to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. You stop over-explaining because your truth doesn't require justification. You stop shrinking because you understand that playing small to make others comfortable only delays your growth. Most people are not taught to value themselves. They're taught to perform for acceptance. From childhood, many are conditioned to earn love, to chase approval, to measure their worth by how others respond to them. That same pattern follows into adulthood. If he texts me, then I matter. If they include me, then I'm valuable. If I'm chosen, then I'm enough. But self-worth doesn't live in someone else's hands. It doesn't fluctuate based on whether someone sees your value or not. It's internal. It's unshakable. And until you realize that, you'll keep outsourcing your identity to people who are just as unsure of themselves. The energy of self-worth is magnetic because it's rare. It doesn't panic when someone pulls away. It doesn't chase when someone loses interest. It doesn't fold under pressure. It stands tall, not because it wants to impress anyone, but because it has nothing to prove. When you radiate self-worth, people feel it before they understand it. They may not be able to put it into words, but they'll notice that you don't operate from the same desperation the world is used to. You don't seek attention, you attract it. You don't beg for love, you embody it. You don't demand respect, you command it with your presence, with your posture, with the way you carry your energy. Overgiving is one of the clearest signs of lacking self-worth. It's the impulse to do too much, give too much, sacrifice too much, hoping that your efforts will be enough to earn someone's affection. But here's the truth. If you have to overgive to keep someone, they were never meant to stay. If your worth is tied to what you do for them, not who you are at your core, then you're not in a relationship, You're in a performance, and the moment the performance ends, so does the attention. That's why self-worth is not about how much you can offer. It's about how little you tolerate that dishonors your value. When you know your worth, you create space for people to rise to your level instead of lowering yourself to be accepted. You don't tolerate breadcrumbs of affection. You don't wait around for half-hearted effort. You don't make excuses for inconsistent behavior. You observe, you assess, and you choose what aligns with your standard. Not from a place of bitterness, but from a place of clarity. And people feel that clarity. It either attracts them or intimidates them, but either way, it sets a tone. A woman with self-worth doesn't chase, she aligns. She doesn't cling, she detaches. She doesn't worry if someone walks away because she trusts that what's meant for her will recognize her and stay without force. There's something undeniably powerful about a person who can sit with themselves and still feel complete, who doesn't need constant external validation to feel good, who doesn't jump at the first sign of attention because they've already filled the emptiness inside. That inner fullness is what creates the outer confidence. And that confidence is what becomes irresistible. Not the forced smile, not the perfectly curated appearance, not the strategic texts. Confidence rooted in self-worth doesn't manipulate outcomes, it allows. It doesn't control, it attracts. It doesn't react, it decides. One of the greatest shifts you can make is realizing that you are not here to be consumed, you are here to be experienced. You are not an option, you are a standard. And the moment you embody that truth, everything starts to reorganize around you. People who once ignored you begin to pay attention. Those who took you for granted start to reconsider. Those who left may try to return, but by then, you're no longer waiting. Because self-worth doesn't sit in the hallway begging for a door to open. It walks away and builds its own. There is a certain energy that flows from someone who knows they're not for everyone. They're not seeking mass approval. They're not adjusting themselves to fit into places that don't appreciate them. They walk with purpose. They speak with intention. They live in alignment. That energy cannot be faked and it cannot be ignored. It makes people stop, look, and wonder. What is it about them? It's not about beauty. It's not about charm. It's about the energy of self-acceptance. The inner knowing that says, I am whole, with or without your attention. That's the energy that will have someone chasing, not because you played hard to get, but because you were never playing in the first place. You were just being, and being is enough. Not because someone else confirms it, but because you decided it. You no longer need to prove yourself, fix anyone, or sacrifice your peace to earn love. You no longer chase the idea of being chosen. You understand now you are the one who does the choosing. That shift in power doesn't come from arrogance, it comes from healing. It comes from the deep inner work of remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. And when you return to that truth, when you embody that energy of self-worth authentically, consistently, unapologetically, everything that is truly meant for you will find its way into your life. Not through force, not through fear, but through alignment with who you really are. Emotional control is one of the greatest powers a person can develop, yet it is often misunderstood. It is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is okay when it's not. Emotional control is the ability to recognize what you are feeling, to understand why you feel that way, and then to choose how you will respond instead of reacting impulsively. This distinction between response and reaction is subtle, but profound. A reaction is immediate, often driven by instinct and fueled by unresolved emotions. A response, on the other hand, comes from a place of awareness, calmness, and choice. When you master this ability, you gain an energy that is magnetic because it signals strength, maturity, and peace. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions. When they feel hurt, they lash out or withdraw. When they feel rejected, they panic or plead. When they feel ignored, they become desperate or clingy. These emotional reactions create chaos not only inside but also in their relationships. Others sense this instability, and it triggers discomfort or even avoidance. Nobody wants to be around someone whose emotions are unpredictable or overwhelming. It creates an environment of tension and uncertainty. But when you learn to control your emotions, you create a space of safety and calmness that people naturally gravitate toward. Emotional control doesn't mean you never feel anger, sadness, fear, or jealousy. These emotions are human, natural, and necessary. The key is how you handle them. Do you let anger control your words and actions, causing damage that you later regret? Or do you acknowledge your anger, understand its source, and express it in a way that preserves your dignity and relationships? Do you allow sadness to consume you and keep you stuck in the past? Or do you feel it fully and then choose to move forward with grace? Do you let jealousy turn into possessiveness and suspicion, or do you use it as a signal to strengthen your self-worth and trust? Mastering emotional control means being the captain of your inner ship. You observe the storms inside you, but don't let them take you off course. You acknowledge the waves, but keep steering toward your destination. This takes practice and self-awareness. It means pausing before you speak or act. It means asking yourself, is this response going to serve my highest good or harm it? It means learning to sit with discomfort without immediately trying to fix or escape it. It means recognizing triggers and choosing healing over reaction. This is the foundation of emotional intelligence, and it's one of the most attractive qualities a person can embody. When your energy is rooted in emotional control, you communicate a message of stability. You say without words, I am not easily shaken. I am grounded. I am reliable. That kind of energy is rare and precious. In a world where many people are emotionally reactive, the ability to remain calm and composed is not just a strength, it's a magnet. People want to be around those who make them feel safe, not anxious. They want to engage with those who respond thoughtfully, not impulsively. When you embody emotional control, you create an environment where love, trust, and respect can grow. Emotional control also means you do not hand over your peace to others. You don't allow someone else's words, actions, or moods to dictate your emotional state. This is a major shift in personal power. It's easy to blame others for how we feel, to say, they made me angry or they hurt me. But the truth is that your emotions are your responsibility. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you process it and how long you allow it to affect you. When you own your emotions, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a master of your own experience. Another powerful aspect of emotional control is the ability to hold your boundaries firmly without guilt or apology. When you are clear about your emotional limits, you protect your energy. You say no to what drains you and yes to what nurtures you. You refuse to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or neglect because you value your peace. This boundary setting is an expression of emotional control because it requires you to stay calm in the face of pressure and to prioritize your well-being over pleasing others. People respect those who respect themselves. And emotional control sends that message loud and clear. Furthermore, emotional control enhances your communication. When you are calm and centered, you can express your needs and feelings clearly and effectively. You listen without interrupting. You respond without attacking. You handle conflict with grace instead of drama. This creates healthier, more fulfilling relationships because it encourages mutual understanding and respect. It also prevents the cycle of emotional ups and downs that often lead to breakups, misunderstandings, and regret. There is a deep confidence that comes with emotional control. It's a quiet assurance that no matter what happens around you, you will remain steady. You become someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't spiral into negativity, who doesn't lose themselves in the chaos of emotions. That confidence shines through your eyes, your posture, your voice. It's a presence that says, I am whole, I am strong, I am in control. This energy is what makes a person truly attractive, not the superficial allure of looks or charm, but the deep, undeniable pull of someone who is emotionally sovereign. When a man encounters a woman who embodies this energy, who is calm, composed, and self-assured, he is drawn to her naturally. He doesn't have to chase because he feels invited in by her stability. He doesn't feel the need to test or manipulate because her energy communicates clear boundaries and confidence. He wants to be close, to engage, to commit, not because she demands it, but because she inspires it. Emotional control is not something that happens overnight. It requires ongoing effort, reflection, and healing. It means learning from mistakes, forgiving yourself for past emotional outbursts, and committing to growth. It means surrounding yourself with people who support your journey rather than trigger your insecurities. It means practicing patience with yourself when you stumble, knowing that mastery is a process, not a destination. When you commit to mastering your emotions, you transform your entire life experience. You no longer live in the roller coaster of highs and lows, hoping for relief. You cultivate a steady internal climate where peace reigns. And from this place of peace, your energy shifts. You become someone who doesn't just survive emotional challenges, you thrive through them. You become someone who doesn't just attract people, you magnetize them with your calm, your strength, your choice to respond rather than react. When you embrace independence, you step into a power that is both freeing and magnetic. Independence is more than just being physically alone or financially self-sufficient. It is a state of mind, a declaration that your happiness, your identity, and your peace are not dependent on another person's presence or approval. This kind of independence is revolutionary because it challenges the old narratives that say you need someone else to complete you, to validate you, or to make your life meaningful. When you truly embody independence, you rewrite that story for yourself. And you do so with confidence and clarity. Independence means being whole on your own. It means waking up each day knowing that you have everything you need inside you already. Your sense of worth does not come from another's attention or affection. It springs from your own deep reservoir of self-love and acceptance. You are not waiting for someone to arrive and fill a void because you have already filled it. This self-sufficiency changes how you show up in relationships. Instead of clinging to someone out of fear of loneliness or rejection, you engage with others from a place of choice, not necessity. You are with someone because you want to be. When you live with this energy, your vibe shifts completely. People sense it immediately. They see that you're not desperate for approval or love. You don't depend on constant validation or reassurance. Instead, you carry yourself with a calm assurance that says, I am enough as I am. This energy is incredibly attractive because it signals strength, freedom, and a life that is not defined by external circumstances. It invites others to approach you with respect rather than entitlement. because you've set the unspoken rule that your time, your heart, and your energy are precious. Many people confuse independence with isolation or emotional coldness. They think being independent means pushing others away or refusing to show vulnerability. But true independence is not about shutting down or shutting people out. It's about creating healthy boundaries and choosing connection on your terms. It's about being open and loving, yet not losing yourself in the process. You can be deeply connected and still be independent. You can be supportive and caring while maintaining your own sense of self. This balance is what creates relationships built on mutual respect rather than codependency. Codependency is a trap that many fall into when they don't know their worth or haven't developed emotional control. It's the desperate need to fix, please, or be needed by someone else to feel valuable. But independence frees you from this cycle. It allows you to give from a place of abundance, not scarcity. When you're independent, your love is a choice, not a lifeline. You don't sacrifice your peace to keep someone happy. You don't tolerate disrespect to avoid being alone. You don't negotiate your values to fit someone else's expectations. Instead, you honor yourself and create space for relationships that honor you in return. Being independent also means owning your decisions and your life. You stop blaming others for your circumstances or waiting for someone else to change to be happy. You take full responsibility for your emotions, your growth, and your destiny. This ownership is empowering because it puts the power back in your hands. You realize that you are the creator of your reality, not a victim of it. This mindset shift changes how you approach challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. Instead of feeling helpless or resentful, you see every experience as an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. The energy of independence also comes with a sense of peace that others find irresistible. When you are content with yourself and your life, you radiate calmness and confidence. You don't react to drama or chaos with panic or desperation. You hold your center. This steadiness creates a magnetic pull because it's a refuge from the instability that many people carry. Others want to be near that energy because it feels safe, nurturing, and empowering. It encourages them to also step into their own power rather than cling to yours. Another beautiful aspect of independence is the freedom it gives you to pursue your passions, dreams, and purpose without compromise. When you are not dependent on someone else's approval or support, you can fully express your authentic self. You make choices aligned with your values and goals, not based on fear of rejection or desire to please. This freedom allows you to grow into the fullest version of yourself, which naturally attracts people who appreciate and respect you for who you are. Your independence becomes a beacon that draws the right kind of people into your life. Independence also teaches you resilience. When you rely on yourself emotionally and practically, you develop the strength to face challenges without falling apart. You learn to trust your intuition, to solve problems, and to bounce back from setbacks. This resilience not only serves you, but also inspires those around you. People are drawn to resilience because it signals that you are someone who won't give up or be easily shaken. It makes you a leader in your own life, someone who others can look up to and rely on. Moreover, independence requires self-discipline. It demands that you take care of your physical, mental, and emotional health consistently. You establish routines and habits that support your well-being rather than sabotaging it. This self-care is a form of respect for yourself, reinforcing the energy that you are worthy of love, success, and happiness. When you embody self-discipline, you demonstrate that you value yourself enough to invest time and effort into your growth. This commitment is another layer of attraction because it shows you are serious about your life and your future. Living with independence also means embracing solitude without fear. Many people avoid being alone because they confuse solitude with loneliness. But solitude is a powerful tool for self-discovery and healing. It gives you the space to reflect, recharge, and connect with your inner voice. When you are comfortable being alone, you don't rush into relationships to fill a void. You enter connections from fullness, not emptiness. This fullness is visible to others, and it naturally invites healthy, balanced relationships. Finally, independence frees you from the need to control others. When you are secure in yourself, you stop trying to manipulate or change people to fit your desires. You accept them as they are and allow relationships to unfold naturally. This acceptance creates a harmonious energy that attracts genuine connection. People want to be around someone who respects their freedom as much as their own, because it fosters trust and authenticity. Independence is the foundation of a powerful, attractive energy that makes others want to chase you, not because you are elusive or hard to get, but because you are whole, confident, and free. When you embody this energy fully, you shift from being pursued to being pursued endlessly by those who recognize your worth and want to be part of your life on your terms. Confidence is a force that transforms how you move through the world, and it is one of the most magnetic energies you can embody. It goes beyond superficial bravado or fleeting moments of pride. True confidence is a deep-seated belief in your value, your abilities, and your right to exist fully and unapologetically. When you develop this kind of confidence, you no longer seek approval from others to feel good about yourself. Instead, your sense of worth is rooted in an unshakable understanding of who you are and what you bring to the table. This confidence grows from the inside out. It starts with the way you talk to yourself, the stories you tell about your past, your capabilities, and your future. Many people live trapped by negative self-talk and limiting beliefs that chip away at their self-esteem over time. But when you make the conscious decision to replace those damaging thoughts with empowering ones, you begin to build a foundation of confidence that cannot be easily broken. It requires consistent practice, reminding yourself daily that you are enough, that you deserve success and happiness, and that you're capable of overcoming challenges. One of the most powerful aspects of confidence is how it influences your body language and demeanor. When you feel confident, your posture straightens, your gaze holds steady, and your voice carries a calm assurance. This non-verbal communication sends a clear message to everyone around you that you are someone to be taken seriously, someone who values themselves and commands respect. People are naturally drawn to this energy because it signals stability and strength. It creates a sense of safety and trust that encourages others to engage with you openly and honestly. Confidence also changes how you respond to rejection or criticism. Instead of internalizing negativity or allowing it to diminish your self-worth, confident individuals view feedback as an opportunity for growth. They understand that their value is not determined by other people's opinions or external circumstances. This resilience means that setbacks do not derail your progress. Rather, they become stepping stones on your journey. When you embody this mindset, others notice your ability to stay composed and centered under pressure, which only enhances your appeal. Another key element of confidence is the way it allows you to set and enforce boundaries without guilt or hesitation. When you believe in yourself, you recognize that your time, energy, and emotions are precious resources. You no longer feel obligated to say yes to everything or everyone just to avoid conflict or rejection. Instead, you make choices that honor your well-being and align with your values. This firm but respectful boundary setting communicates to others that you respect yourself, which in turn inspires them to respect you as well. Confidence also empowers you to take risks and pursue your goals with determination. Fear of failure often holds people back, but when you have genuine confidence, you trust your ability to handle whatever outcomes arise. This courage to step into the unknown is magnetic because it reflects a person who is committed to growth and willing to push beyond comfort zones. People are inspired by that kind of bravery and want to be part of the energy that propels you forward. It's important to recognize that confidence is not about being perfect or knowing everything. In fact, true confidence includes embracing your imperfections and vulnerabilities without shame. It's about showing up authentically, even when you feel uncertain or afraid. This honesty creates genuine connections because it invites others to be real with you too. When you stop pretending to have all the answers and instead demonstrate humility and openness, you become more relatable and trustworthy. This authenticity deepens relationships and increases your influence. Confidence also allows you to communicate clearly and assertively. When you know your worth, you speak your truth without apology. You express your needs, desires, and opinions with clarity and respect, which helps prevent misunderstandings and resentment. People are drawn to this directness because it creates transparency and reduces confusion. It shows that you value yourself and your relationships enough to be honest and upfront, which builds stronger bonds and mutual respect. Moreover, confidence fuels your ability to inspire and lead others. When you carry yourself with certainty and self-assuredness, you naturally become a role model. People look to you for guidance, motivation, and encouragement because your energy radiates possibility and empowerment. This influence is not about controlling others, but about lighting the way and encouraging them to step into their own power. Your confidence can spark transformation in others, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond your immediate circle. Confidence also intersects with gratitude and positive expectation. When you believe in yourself, you begin to expect good things in your life and appreciate the progress you've made. This positive mindset attracts opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your vision. It's a magnetic force because people want to be around someone who radiates optimism and hope. Your confidence becomes a beacon of light that draws others toward your energy and vision. At the same time, cultivating confidence requires patience and persistence. It's not something that happens overnight or without effort. You will encounter moments of doubt and insecurity, and that's normal. The difference is how you respond to those moments. Rather than letting them define you, you use them as reminders to recommit to your growth. Over time, these small acts of self-belief build momentum, creating a steady stream of confidence that carries you through life's ups and downs. Confidence also liberates you from the need for comparison. When you trust yourself, you stop measuring your worth against others' achievements or appearances. You recognize that your journey is unique and you honor your own timeline. This freedom from comparison reduces jealousy, insecurity, and self-doubt, allowing you to focus on your own progress and happiness. This self-focus enhances your energy and makes you more attractive because you're fully engaged with your own life, not distracted by envy or competition. Finally, confidence opens the door to joy and fulfillment. When you no longer hesitate to express who you truly are and pursue what truly matters to you, your life becomes richer and more meaningful. This fulfillment shines through in your interactions and daily experiences, creating a vibrant energy that others find irresistible. It's this energy, born from deep, unwavering confidence, that makes you someone who others want to chase forever. Emotional control is a profound and transformative skill that reshapes how you experience life and interact with the world around you. It is the ability to manage your feelings, especially in moments of stress, disappointment, or conflict, so that you maintain clarity, composure, and purpose. Far from suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist, emotional control means acknowledging your feelings, understanding their origins, and choosing how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. This mastery over your inner state creates an energy of stability and strength that others deeply respect and are naturally drawn to. When you develop emotional control, you step into the role of the observer of your own mind. Instead of being swept away by waves of anger, fear, jealousy, or sadness, you learn to witness these feelings without losing yourself in them. This awareness gives you a powerful choice. You can decide whether to engage with those emotions constructively or let them pass without dictating your behavior. This kind of self-regulation is the foundation of emotional intelligence and a hallmark of mature, grounded individuals who command respect effortlessly. Emotional control also means understanding that feelings are temporary states, not fixed realities. Many people get trapped in the intensity of their emotions and assume that those feelings define them or the situation permanently. But with emotional control, you recognize that emotions fluctuate like weather patterns. This perspective helps you avoid overreacting or making decisions based on transient moods. Instead, you create space for rational thinking and wise action, which leads to better outcomes and healthier relationships. Another critical aspect of emotional control is the ability to respond to provocation or criticism without losing your center. When you possess this skill, you do not allow others' words or actions to hijack your peace. You can listen, assess, and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting defensively or aggressively. This calmness in the face of challenge signals to others that you are emotionally mature and in command of yourself, which naturally elevates your presence and influence. People want to be around someone who can handle pressure with grace because it creates a sense of safety and reliability. Emotional control also plays a vital role in overcoming negative feelings that might otherwise sabotage your progress. When frustration, doubt, or resentment arise, they don't have to derail your motivation or self-belief. Instead, with emotional control, you learn to acknowledge these feelings without letting them dominate your mindset. You develop techniques such as deep breathing, positive reframing, or journaling to process emotions healthily. This intentional management prevents negative feelings from spiraling into destructive behaviors or toxic thought patterns. One of the most empowering outcomes of emotional control is increased resilience. Life inevitably throws challenges, setbacks, and disappointments your way. Without emotional control, these obstacles can overwhelm you, leading to despair or giving up. But with this skill, you can face difficulties with a balanced mindset. You understand that setbacks are part of growth and remain committed to your goals despite temporary discomfort. This resilience inspires admiration and draws people who value strength and perseverance. Emotional control also enhances your ability to build and maintain healthy relationships. When you manage your emotions effectively, you communicate more clearly and avoid unnecessary conflicts. You can listen with empathy without becoming defensive or reactive. This emotional steadiness creates a safe environment where others feel heard and respected. It encourages openness and trust, deepening connections and making your presence more valued and cherished. Moreover, emotional control helps you maintain focus on your personal growth and vision. Negative feelings often act as distractions, pulling your attention away from what truly matters. But when you master your emotions, you can redirect your energy toward productive actions and solutions. You don't get stuck in rumination or self-pity. Instead, you keep moving forward with purpose and clarity. This forward momentum is compelling because it shows others that you are a person of action, not reaction. Someone who leads their own life rather than being controlled by circumstances. Developing emotional control requires patience and consistent practice. It is not about becoming emotionless, but about cultivating emotional maturity. This journey often involves facing uncomfortable truths about yourself and learning new ways to cope with stress. It might mean adopting mindfulness practices, seeking support, or studying emotional intelligence frameworks. Over time, these efforts build an inner sanctuary where you can retreat and find calm regardless of external chaos. This sanctuary is your source of power and peace. Another important dimension of emotional control is the ability to forgive both yourself and others. Holding on to grudges or guilt drains emotional energy and fosters bitterness. When you control your emotions, you recognize the liberating power of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or condoning wrongs. It means releasing the emotional charge that keeps you tied to pain. This release frees up your mental and emotional resources for positive growth and relationships. People notice when you carry this grace and are drawn to the lightness it brings. Emotional control also sharpens your decision making. When emotions run wild, decisions tend to be impulsive or clouded by bias. But when you regulate your feelings, you create space for clear, thoughtful choices aligned with your values and goals. This clarity not only improves your life outcomes, but also earns the trust of those around you. People want to follow or partner with someone who makes wise, consistent decisions rather than unpredictable ones. Furthermore, emotional control helps you create a balanced life where joy, love, and fulfillment can flourish. When you aren't overwhelmed by negative emotions, you can fully appreciate positive experiences and cultivate gratitude. This balance enhances your overall well-being and projects an energy of happiness and contentment that is deeply attractive. Others sense when someone lives from a place of emotional harmony, and they want to be part of that positive environment. Ultimately, emotional control is a cornerstone of personal mastery. It allows you to take command of your inner world, which in turn transforms your outer world. It is a powerful signal to yourself and to others that you are a person who can navigate life's ups and downs with wisdom and grace. This energy of emotional mastery makes you not just someone to chase, but someone worth chasing endlessly because you embody strength, peace, and self-mastery in every interaction.